Well, what's up? It's your boy KRS ONE here, and let's get into it. This is probably the lamest beef in the history of hip hop. Probably in history, period. KRS One, Nelly, or Nelly versus KRS One. What? Like, really, what was this about? I'm still confused to this day. I mean, this was some of the most uninterested beef that I couldn't even believe Nelly allowed himself to get sucked into. Now everybody know Blastmaster, so when Blastmaster KRS One starts going off on a rant, or he gets really inspired, or he goes way beyond the line, it'd be like, well, here's the line here of the line of reality. And then he goes another 16,000 leagues past that. He took a Nelly song, and I think it was number one or something, and just found a way to interject himself into the mix. And then he put out some song where he was talking about Nelly sounding like an NSYNC commercial and stuff like that. And talking about Nelly's whack, and really came at him like Nelly was biting my style, like biting stuff from people and other artists. And so he decided, like, Nelly's bad music. Nelly just had enough, because there was so many people in rap who weren't selling records like Nelly, who was just hating on him. So he just had enough, and people like KRS One, he was just gonna say something like, look, man, I'm finna address this. So he was like, this is an obvious ploy, like dude's trying to sucker me in for another battle, or sucker me in to try to sell records, and it's clear that this dude is just out there. And then KRS One makes some good points talking about how, artists come in, and how the studios is what he was talking about, like Universal, which is the giant, like sending them the message that the culture is not going to respond to these whack rappers you put out. You can't just jerk people around with those contracts, then turn around and give contracts to people like Nelly. And he's trying to make it like he disses the community, and his music is whack. So that's when Nelly had enough. Listen to this guy go on and on and on, then, because Blastmaster goes from "I'm doing this for the culture" to "you see what Nelly did and Universal is they challenged the sovereign power." You'd be like, huh? So I'm gonna call a hip-hop boycott of all Nelly records, and I want the fans to boo him at every concert. This is hip-hop standing up to the giant, to the corporate giants of America. I'm like, oh, wow. Now, you've never heard me tell anybody to boycott anything. Not even the rappers I don't like. I don't tell you to boycott them. If you like that garbage, go buy it. That's your prerogative. I will never tell somebody to go and boycott something. It's what they want to do. But how you gonna tell somebody not to go and support somebody else's record when people are supporting the record? And when they sell out and the album, his movement flops, nobody really pays no attention. Nelly comes out on the Rock the Mic remix, where he starts talking about KRS One and talking about his nose. And, KRS One made a whole bunch of songs. I mean, the diss records is out there. He's talking about Nelly having acne. My nose come from kings and queens. Your acne coming from you eating the wrong things. So he starts this, we're going to use hip-hop Declaration of Peace that's organized by me and follows the 18 guidelines, which is called the overstandings. Among them, we will denounce, prejudge, encourage the rebrations of ancestry and appreciate the hip-hop culture. Best thing Nelly can do is accept hip-hop's Declaration of Peace, and I will lift my ban. Yes, errors were made, but this is how we squash our differences. Oh my God, is this man serious? He goes and takes an inch and turn that into 375,000 miles. It was wow. This was so lame that other rappers getting involved telling Nelly, stop. Just stop. And even Nas got involved, and that's what got Nelly, like, you trying to diss KRS One, man? Like, what are you doing? Because you're not going to win. See, you're not going to win the hip-hop's perspective like the East Coast guys. Like, you don't diss KRS One. You just don't. Blastmaster is going to take your head off, one, because you can't beat him in a rhyme. You're not that type of rapper. Two, you can't beat a legend. That's like this garbage with MC Shan and me and all that stuff. And that's why I stopped. That could have just went to a whole nother level. But Shan is an icon of rap. So, yeah, I have more people laughing at him and on my side if I say something. But for me to go back and forth with Shan, that's like ludicrous, for me to even do that. Yeah, it would get a lot of hits if I kept milking that to the bone, but then it's like, for what? Because at the end of the day, I was somebody who liked MC Shan's music back in the day. I was the one who made videos telling people, man, go check out old Shan rhymes, on some of the records. But that's why some people, when they say some people that's older, you just let them have they say, ignore them, and keep moving. See, that's how back in the days it used to be. When somebody, an old head, was telling you something, you opened your ears and shut your mouth. Even if you didn't agree with it, you just shut your mouth and take it and move on. You got a choice to listen or don't. You don't have to respond to everything. So this is one of those cases where Nelly should have just not responded at all to KRS One and let his movement, nothing. Because we know naturally KRS One never sold any records, basically enough units to be a major difference. He basically sold to the hood, and I don't think he ever had an album that sold 1 million records. But he mattered to the hip hop community, so they were going to keep him relevant. As long as you can go gold in the street, that was good. So, on that note, the beef got eradicated by these people having a conversation, and all KRS One wanted was the light and pub that he got so to promote his records. So he never had nothing really personal against the dude. So that is that. Now you can follow the playlist along. You already know what the playlist is. You can click the little icon in the right corner of the videos and go through the cards and check out the other playlists. It's your boy, I'm out.